Welcome back to McCoy Van Noy, presented by Toyota, official automotive partner of the NFL. I am one half of your gracious host, Mr. Gerald McCoy, the 93rd wonder of the world, big chest from the Midwest, the one that never fails. I only thrive because where am I from, killer? The south side of the 405. Yeah. Oh, am I flying?
I've been practicing.
Am I flying high? Gracious co-host is
Kyle Van Noy. We in the building, baby. Hey, I appreciate everybody that listens to this today. This is gonna be a good one. I'm ready. You already, G. How we doing? How we feeling? Big weekend, right?
It was a huge weekend of football, man. Hey, listen, forgive my background. Forgive what y'all see right now. My kids are on fall break, and I'm just being a great dad. We're in California right now.
Let's go. I love it.
The fans. I love y'all, so I wasn't going to miss the show. So here I am. But let's talk about some football, because college football was crazy, but the NFL was just as crazy. Starting with the game of the year, and if anybody says anything otherwise, you just don't know ball. The Baltimore Ravens going to Cincinnati and give us a show. Killer.
Where do we even start? In this game?
You know what? I think a lot of people were questioning what Cincinnati was, how Joe Burrow was playing and all that. I think Joe Burrow cemented himself as one of those guys with how he played, because y'all's defense is y'all's defense is hell to deal with. You've been balling. Y'all got guys in the middle, guys in the back end. Man, y'all's defense is elite, and he just had a day. But
not just him, the receivers too. Jamar Chase, T. Higgins, they were making contested catches. You know, it wasn't like they were wide open. A couple times, it happens, but they were making contested catches, and it was just like, damn.
Yeah, no, man.
It was just one of those days. It was hot. It was annoying. They scored a bunch of points. It happens, but we gotta clear those mistakes ASAP. But I mean, we got to go into it how the plan the Bengals had was very good. They executed. They wanted to get their ball to the playmakers. They did. Jamar Chase had a couple plays that were just like, ooh-wee. He had two tugs. T. Higgins, I mean, his catches were insane all day. Slants, comebacks, had a route in the end zone for a touchdown. He had a pretty dang good game. Joe Burrow, he was locked in. But he wasn't locked in long enough.
He wasn't locked in long enough because that defense made them clutch plays. That defense came up clutch. But I'm going to let you talk about this, man. I'm going to tell you a couple things. Tight ends, big day, combined for 132 yards, 3 touchdowns.
Huge day, all three of them.
Kohler had one. I'm going to let you talk about these next two players, though. I'm going to let you talk about these next two players because we see things from the outside looking in.
Yeah.
We see things from the outside looking in, but to be around these two generational players and Lamar Jackson and Justin Tucker. Lamar Jackson and Justin Tucker, this is OU Texas week. Obviously.
And we got to throw in Derrick Henry, too.
Yeah. You know what? Let me just throw in Derrick Henry. Let me throw in Derrick Henry right there. Okay,
all three of them.
So I'm Justin Tucker. Hey, I see you, but this is our week. Tuck he's a Texas Longhorn, and he's in my opinion. This is my opinion. I always speak for my generation. I always stand up for my generation. He's the greatest kicker of all time. That's how I see it.
Facts.
You got one of the best running backs of all time in Derrick Henry, and one of the best quarterbacks of all time already in Lamar Jackson. Can you speak to what it's like to watch those guys week in and week out? Not the game, because the fans can see the game.
Mm-hmm.
I've played the game, so I know what they're doing is extremely difficult. It is a higher level than what the fans even know what they're doing right now. Because I played the game, I know what it takes and how hard this game is. But can you kind of speak to what you're seeing week in and week out in the building that these guys are doing to prepare to put on these great performances?
I'll start with LJ. LJ, his practice of what he's put in, the work that he's put in from the time that I've gotten here has been nothing but awesome. I've heard things in the past, but I can only talk about what I've watched. And what I have watched is somebody that has really matured in every angle and every aspect of football, whether it's spiritually, mentally, and physically. Like physically, his body is in great shape. He's throwing the ball really well, accurately. He's running the rock. He's breaking tackles, stiff arming, juking people, doing what he's always done, but it's still at a very, very high level. And then lastly, I think spiritually, just that mindset and competitiveness is on a different level right now. He knows what he wants and he's going to do whatever and anything to get it. He doesn't care if you're with him or without you. He's like, I don't care if you're in my way. Even, like a play like he had where he had a QB run in the game and Ronnie Stanley, we talked about it a little bit. I made fun of him where, Ronnie's coming around trying to read it and he's like, nah, get out of my way and keep going. And then ended up getting the first down and then barking at Ronnie and Ronnie's like, nah, so, we made fun of him on the plane for it, but it's just that spiritual competitiveness right now that he's got is on a different level. Now let's go to Derrick Henry. Something that's been very impressive to me is with the amount of carries that he had, the workhorse mentality, not only in the game, but it's in practice. Like he wants to get the reps. He wants to get the carries. He wants to feel what it's like.
Am I tripping? Did it look like he was running as fast as he had ran all game on that 51-yard run? It looked like that was the first run of the game, and that goes to show what you're saying is true, his work ethic.
Exactly.
Because you have to train your body to be able to do that. I had a conversation with Fletcher Cox, and we were talking about the defensive tackles of today and how these guys don't understand. In order to be elite in the fourth quarter, you have to groom your body for that. You have to practice a certain way. You have to put your body through a certain level of trauma so your body can be at peak performance in the fourth quarter. And when Derrick Henry broke that run, he looked like, okay, that first run of last week, he was blazing. I feel like this run, he looked faster than that run. And that just goes to show that goes to show what you saying has to be true because, man, when I'm watching that run, I'm like, how is he still moving this fast this late in the game?
Yeah, because it's the work he puts in, not only in practice, but his conditioning, strength training. Like he's in the gym, he's working just as hard as them D linemen are working, and it's impressive, and it shows by the way he plays and the way the more carries he gets, the more cracks he gets at the with the rock in his hand trying to score, the better your odds are, especially with him. And then lastly, Justin Tucker. And let's not make no mistake, everybody was a little down on Tucker. Not us, obviously, but the outside world was like, oh, he can't make a 50-yard field goal. Not only did he make one, but it was into the wind. If you saw how he kicked, I think it was a 53-yarder. It like went to the left, and he knows all of those angles with the wind. He knows how his ball comes off his foot. All that was in coordinates of his preparation and his mindset, and that starts in practice too. His practice habits are awesome when he's kicking. Like when you don't necessarily watch. G, I'm sure you've watched kickers like Nick Folk. Love Nick Folk. You're watching him, you've seen him kick, you're just like, yeah, okay. And then the difference, I don't want to put Nick down because I think Nick's money. Anything 50 yards and in, and he's
Nick
been awesome kick, 50 yards. Nick can kick. I hate that I compared him to that. I'm just saying as far as like you've seen a kicker and you're watching him, it's the same thing watching Tuck. Like when you see Tuck kick, it's there's an explosion.
That's why that game I was talking about, when he missed those 4 field goals, we was all on the sideline like, bro, is something going on at home? Because he was money.
Yeah.
He was money in practice. He was money leading up to that. So it's like, Nick, if you see this, we're complimenting you. We're talking about people who are money from 50 up. That, so we talk about that game. That's an anomaly. But bro,
and then Tuck hits the game winner from about 25 yards out, and just the confidence boost for him. Shut everybody up. He's still the GOAT.
Yeah, he's still that guy. And real quick before we get into more games, you've been extremely blessed, not only with talent yourself to be able to play at a high level, but you've been around some guys, man. You've been around. You've had an opportunity to see some high level football, man. And
my resume is crazy with like Hall of Famers. I'm not even gonna lie, as teammates from. I mean,
coaches too.
Coaches too. Yeah,
it's crazy.
I almost said Chad Johnson, but Calvin Johnson. I mean, Tom Gronk, Stephon Gilmore. I had Antonio Brown for a cup of coffee. I will say this: Antonio Brown is the best practice player I've ever seen. Like,
that's what I heard. Everybody,
it's not even close.
Everybody I've ever been around, they say you see the antics, you see him, the different things that people make fun of or whatever. They said, but
which is you can.
It's warranted. It's warranted. But they said if you know how this guy works, I remember I was in Dallas one time visiting before I moved there, and I was at Aqib Talib's gym. And Antonio Brown had a tour bus. What he was doing is, you think like, it was a football player on a tour bus. He was going to all the high-profile athletes' gyms and doing training sessions. He was traveling with his personal trainer and doing training sessions. That's how locked in he was with everything he was doing. And when all my boys that was at the Bucks, they tell me, G, I never seen nobody practice like that. The way he practices,
it's not even close.
It's like his practice habits are insane. So man, you've had
now it goes him and Tom as practice, but I'm telling you, AB's practice levels were different. And then I'll never forget the one-on-ones period between AB and Stephon Gilmore when Steph was deep POY. Man. Everybody stopped. Everybody's like this.
Yeah.
Every drill stopped, and you're just watching two Hall of Famers go at it. That was awesome.
Yeah, that was incredible.
That was crazy. It was incredible. And then, it is what it is. He wasn't my teammate for very long, but I do give him props for his work ethic. It is number one in my book.
It has to be something if Tom wanted him in New England, and then he got to be around him for that short period of time, and he demanded for him to be in Tampa. So what you're saying has to be true. See, a lot of people just get on these things and talk. We tell you the real, man. My boy McCoy Van Noy is giving you the real. He's giving you all the insight.
The last thing I want to talk about of our game before, last thing, and then we can move on, is LJ's play where he stiff-armed Sam Hubbard once, but twice. Gosh. And then it's going out of bounds, jumps up and throws it to Isaiah Likely, and you could say it was on our old teammate Geno Stone. Shout out to you, Geno. Love you, but that was a crazy game. Crazy play. That was probably a top 3 play I've ever seen live. That was some Madden play.
Listen, that play right there, I've seen Jameis make a play like that. He escaped like 5 people. We was playing Chicago Bears. He escaped like 5 people, and then he threw it to the middle of the field, and Mike Evans head tapped somebody. I can't remember who it was, but I seen a play like that. But that right there was different because of how clutch it was in the moment. And I'm watching this, and I'm like, hey, man.
We got to win the game.
We got
to win the game.
This guy here, man, at that point, if y'all were to not win, it'd be like,
oh, I know.
This don't work. Something ain't going, God, what happened? Because when that stuff like that is happening, it's like, I got to win at that point. But that's game of the year. To me, this is just me. I feel like Lamar Derrick Henry for sure, catapulted themselves. I think Lamar's a front runner. This is just to me. Catapult himself to MVP front runner, and Derrick Henry's definitely in top 5 for MVPs this season. You guys are playing great. I still think you guys are playing the best right now. Definitely in the AFC, probably overall across the league, because that was not an easy game, but y'all pulled it out. And like you told me, the great teams, the good teams, know how to win. They find a way to win, man. And that's what you guys are doing. And y'all getting better by the week. But that There
You
was some more
transition
games.
very good. This team that we're gonna talk about next finds a way. And to me, I know you were giving Ravens love, but I'm the person that always has to give the champs respect. You
for sure.
are gonna be the front runners. You guys are the champs until they are beaten.
The champs
they
until
gotta
somebody
be the
beat you.
one.
Yeah.
You gotta be the one. So the Saints versus the Chiefs game last night, Kansas City dominated with a balanced attack, moving to a 5-0 record. What do we think about that? 5-0, and the Saints fall to a 2-3. Not good.
I
Derek
know.
Carr even left with the oblique injury. Yeah.
That's tough.
So let's talk about this game a little bit. There was a lot and a little bit in this game.
Yeah, I think honestly, if you look at the score,
26-13.
Okay, yeah, so 26-13. The score doesn't tell really how dominant the Chiefs were.
Yeah.
The Chiefs
agree.
were really,
they definitely
really
dominated.
They were really dominant yesterday, man. They just struggled in the red zone, but you gotta
give love to the Chiefs defense.
That's what I'm saying.
They're playing good, man.
The Chiefs defense is playing lights out, man. And the crazy part about that is Chris Jones didn't flash like normal yesterday, and they still dominated. Yeah. So imagine if Chris Jones is having one of them Chris Jones. Though. Yeah, but imagine if Chris Jones is having one of them Chris Jones type days. That's what makes this team so scary.
Yeah.
And Patrick Mahomes, this is why Patrick Mahomes is so good to me. Him partnered with Andy Reid. They lose Rashee Rice. They lose Isaiah Pacheco. Everybody's wondering what are they going to do, who are they going to throw the ball to, and Patrick Mahomes goes out there and has the best passer day he's had all year. It's like
JuJu was cooking. He was cooking last night.
JuJu had a day.
He looked way different on them than he was on the Patriots.
Kareem Hunt looked like Kareem Hunt old, man. It's just like this team finds a way, man.
He had over 100 yards too.
And I love watching great football. I love watching really good football teams because they just find a way, man. And the Saints.
I think the game, what's crazy is I hate to say this, but I thought the game was over right in the beginning when Karlaftis is one-on-one on Kamara and Derek Carr throws it up. I mean, that just kind of started the train downhill for him, and then the Chiefs drive. So
what happened in the third quarter? There was a chance where it's a momentum shift. I think this is kind of what helped seal it. Even after the pick from Big Boy, there was a play before that. Chris Olave got a first down negated. They were in field goal position. They got a first down. Chris Olave got a first down negated, and then they took a sack and had to punt. That kind of just closed the door on a lot of their momentum. Even with the pick after that, it didn't seem like the same after that, man, because they were rolling and they had a chance to bring the game. Then one score, and the Chiefs just dominated.
Pat makes it happen, man. In the pocket,
he does. And the thing
extending plays.
That 2-minute drive before the half, Pat was dealing, man. But again, they had the red zone woes, and they'll clean it up. Yeah. They're going to have to.
Yeah,
if they go.
They're going to have to. I agree.
Yeah, they're going to have to.
But their defense, standing on business, man.
And then we talk
did a really good job. You could really say they only had one bad play, which was the getting dunked on by Rashid. Rashid Shaheed. There we go.
Yeah.
Rashid Shaheed getting dunked on the goalpost by him. That was an awesome play. Corner post. Ooh, that was fire.
But you just talk about special players. You talk about special players and guys who just find a way to get it done, man. The way Patrick Mahomes extended that play, step back in the pocket, step back up in the pocket, sidestep, and then run and just put his body on the line for that first down, man. Guys, he's more than just – I mean, that is one of those spectacular plays, but he just got a great feel for the game, and he does everything necessary for his team to win. When he was in the Super Bowl versus Philly, he wasn't feeling great. Ankle was bothering him, but they needed that 15-yard run at the end of the game. That was one of the game-sealing plays, and when you got guys like that, guys like L-Jack, you know your team is in great hands, and then you partner that with defenses with guys like my guy Kyle Van Noy, and you got something special.
Speaking of defenses.
Brian Flores is a mad scientist. There's something wrong with this guy. I don't know what is it. He needs to, I'm a big Batman guy, obviously. And Arkham Asylum is where they put the criminally insane. I don't know who Brian Flores would be or what his villain name would be, but he needs to be there because the stuff he's drawing up here in his head is insane, man. I did a breakdown of this defense on NFL Network, and he did a play where he had 11 men on the line of scrimmage. 11. Who's thinking stuff like this?
Yeah, the one thing about that defense that because I've played in this defense and I really like this defense. I think what I love about it is the mismatch problems because offenses usually dictate the mismatches, right? Oh, get a backer on, get a receiver on a backer, get a back that can catch like an Austin Eckler on a backer in space, one-on-one. One-on-one, get one-on-one, whatever it is. But this defense dictates by making mismatches on the other side, saying, hey, this is a mismatch of how smart you are and how smart all your guys are. Can all 11 of your guys think on the same page? Because my guys can. Because we rep it over and over and over and make everything look the same and confusing. And they're not doing anything that's super crazy. That's like they're doing wild coverages. They're just putting stuff in different spots and kind of just playing the game within the game. And then they have the matchup of the pressures of who's coming, who's not, and then can your quarterback think if everybody comes, can the receiver do a hot route fast enough? Just all of that adds up, and it creates problems and issues over and over and over. And on the tape, it looks amazing what they're doing over there in Viking land.
Yeah, and we're going to talk about the game, but I want you to talk about this because you did play in the defense, kind of give the fans a little bit. So when I'm breaking down the film, and I did a breakdown of them, when they had all 11 on the line of scrimmage, they dropped out fast to cover 2. The safeties had to get back extremely high. But not only that, they ran a game up front, which my boy Christian Sam, who played for you guys in New England his rookie year, he got drafted out of Arizona State. He kind of told me a little bit of the terms, which obviously I'm not going to give away, but when I talk about what I'm about to talk about, I kind of want you to talk about it a little bit more because you just alluded to it. The San Francisco 49ers get coined of being a positionless offense. But talk about the dangers of having a positionless defense, which is basically what you just described. You've seen Harrison Smith walk down to where he's now in the box and he's being replaced by a corner up top. And then on the snap, they switch spots and he's back where he needs to be and the corner's back down. You see Gink, he's off the edge. He might switch inside, run inside, and then he might drop back out. Like they do, it's a positionless defense. Talk about the dangers of that because like you said, they're not doing nothing overly special, but they're all one, DYJ, which is what Bill taught, which Brian Flores is under that mode of do your job. They're not trying to do somebody else's job. But talk about like a positionless defense and how it's so interchangeable.
Yeah. Well, it starts with the four-headed monster, right? Harrison Smith, Cam Bynum, and Josh Metellus, who doesn't get enough credit.
Right.
And Gink. Those four. Because those four can do everything. They can blitz. They can cover, they can match in man, and Gink can rush. So when you have 4 pieces like that, you got to get them opportunities of where they can make splash plays. So that's what positionless is all 4 of those guys can do different things. Like Harry can drop the third at corner if he had to.
That's crazy.
He can drop a half. He could play man, and he can play the post in the middle.
That dude can
and he can play, middle read, because that's what they do. They can switch it up with all of them playing every safety spot, every corner spot, and they do a good job of disguising and basically tricking quarterbacks. Those 4 are kind of the main targets of like, what are you going to get for them? And then you got guys that are rushing the passer very well. You got Jonathan Grenard that's rushing the passer very well. You got good blitzers and Ivan Pace and Cashman that can also blitz. So you just have a lot of guys that are able to get after the quarterback and do different things. And when you're doing that, it's just spots. Mm-hmm. Instead of looking at it like, hey, you're the inside backer.
Yes.
No, on this play, you're just this guy.
You're this
and then on
guy.
this play, you're this guy. And on this play, you're that guy. And it's awesome. I think it's going to be a defense that gets kind of like, I think it'll start waving into kind of like the Shanahan defense, right? Is you'll start seeing more teams trying to implement this kind of form of things. I know the Bengals run a lot of the pressures as they do because the DB coach was in Miami that was there. So I know they implemented a lot of that zero pressure.
Yeah.
It's not detailed like Brian because obviously he's the mastermind that's continued to evolve this over the years. But I think it's going to start becoming more and more apparent. And I think it gives players like myself who's not, hey, a typical edge rusher or even though I know I can, but it brings football players back into the mix. I think those are starting to die in the NFL and you're going to start seeing more
play. Yeah,
just play football. Like, hey, put him out there. He's in this spot this day, this game. It's football player. And so I think like Andrew Van Ginkel, perfect example, football player. He can play everywhere. Just put him on the damn field and he's going to make plays. And I think it's awesome. I'm excited to see where that defense goes. But we have to talk about the Jets a little bit in this game.
Yeah,
what are your thoughts on them? Aaron Rodgers throws 3 picks. Kind of stagnant on offense. Offensive run game didn't get going. They went down early. Felt like he forced a couple throws in there, and they kind of struggled.
Yeah, they did struggle, man. And that's one of the, you can start seeing the frustration set in. Garrett Wilson had his best game. He got targeted 21 times. Alan Lazard, man, he got to catch the ball. He's got a lot of drops. And when you talk about familiarity, so one of the questions we were asked is, what has been the disconnect between Aaron Rodgers and the Jets wide receivers? And one thing I said is, and you can attest to this, with being around Tom, with being around Lamar, you've been around some vet quarterbacks who played a lot of games in this league. When you have a young quarterback and a young wide receiver, which is what Zach Wilson and Garrett Wilson were, they're taught to learn and see things the same way. When you see this is how we're doing it. This is what we do. When you got a vet quarterback, a Hall of Fame level quarterback, a high caliber quarterback of an Aaron Rodgers, of a Tom Brady, they're going to see it how they want to do it because they see the defenses. They know what the defense is, but they know what they like in that defense. They know where they want to put the ball in that defense. They know when they check you to a certain route, this is how they want you to run it because this is where they like to put the ball. And right now,
speaking of that play, there was a play in the game where Aaron Rodgers throws a ball that was behind Garrett Wilson, kind of towards the sideline, and Aaron saw it, like, hey, the safety's crashing down. Let me place the ball right here. And Garrett didn't. I don't know if he read it the same way to what you're talking about.
Yeah, he didn't. And that's kind of what's happening right now. And we seen this when his last year in Green Bay. Remember, they had all them young wide receivers and they finally drafted one in the first round. Everybody's like, oh, he got a first round wide receiver now. He's finally. Yes, but these guys are young. And if they're not seeing it the way the quarterback is seeing it, they're not going to be on the same page, which why Alan Lazard having the drops that he's had has been a big issue because Alan Lazard does see it the way Aaron Rodgers sees it. He's getting the ball to him, but when you having drops and then A-Rod, he's going to start pressing. He's going to start forcing it because, okay, I got guys that's not seeing it the way I'm not seeing it. We're getting behind. Set me up. I throw a pick six. Okay, now I'm just trying to, he lied him. He hit it with the okey doke, and then now I'm forcing it. So I throw an errant throw in the middle of the field to throw another pick. And then obviously Hall of Famer Gilly, he seals the game with another pick. The Jets are just all over the place. And what's happening right now is Aaron Rodgers throwing the ball way, way too much. They're not. They have Brees Hall. They got Breece Hall, man. He's one of the best weapons in all of football.
And that young boy, too.
That's what I'm saying.
Braylon Allen.
But even Braylon, he threw him a pass out the backfield and he dropped it. He dropped a couple passes. Yeah. So it's like it's a lot going on right now. They just all over the place. I'm not off the Jets yet. They're 5 games in. It's a long season, but they got to figure it out, man, because this AFC ain't no joke, man. Like you guys are great.
Buffalo and Miami the way they play division.
Miami, they gotta play Buffalo this coming Monday Night Football. Like Buffalo, I don't care what we just see with Houston. Buffalo still can ball, man. Houston's good. You got Pittsburgh, which that's gonna lead
everybody in the AFC North.
Yeah, it's a lot of teams, man. So they got a lot to figure out. But that was a really it was high intensity, and then it was exciting ending. So that's how that game was. And to you guys, imagine watching that game. Okay, so I did the early show on NFL Network. My alarm went off at 2 a.m. We were live at 4 a.m. and we had to be on air until 10 a.m. So when I'm telling you, I'm watching the game all delirious and stuff. So I was like, I need some excitement in this freaking game or I'm not going to make it through this thing. But you talked about the AFC North. North. There's a team in the NFC East that came to the AFC North and got a very unlikely win, which goes to show any given Sunday, anything can happen, man. That was an exciting game. The Cowboys, they're injury riddled right now. The 2 best defenders, two of their best 2 D linemen are out for 3 to 4 weeks. They got Brandon Cooks just got put on IR. They're all over the place. A lot of people were off the Cowboys, and then they go into Pittsburgh against that vaunted defense, and they come out with a win. Dak Prescott, he threw a couple picks, kind of a little kind of confusing picks. You're what was going on? Him and CD couldn't get on the same page. But the thing about Dak Prescott that I love so much, and this is why I defend him the way I do, the pressure that comes with, there's no higher pressure situation in all of football than being Dallas Cowboys quarterback, because they have the most fans, but they also have the most haters. People love to hate the Dallas Cowboys. People love the Dallas Cowboys, but being the quarterback of that team.
Shout out Stephen A.
Comes with so much pressure. It's always, and then Dak has gotten paid after paid. He's just got this huge contract. But Dak, when you look at him, he's always like this. I mean, we don't even talk about what Dak has had to deal with off the field, losing his mom, losing his brother. He's had to deal with so much, and because he's so poised. That throw he made on 4th down, he seen the field, he made the right throw, and they came out with a big win, man. That was a phenomenal game. I really enjoyed it, man. And Dallas Cowboys got a big win in that one.
Yeah, and I'll say this. I felt like Dallas moved the ball very, very well in that game.
Yeah, they did.
They just had some not so good plays in the red area, kind of like Kansas City, but without the turnovers. All the turnovers. Kansas City had 1, but Dallas had a couple. So that being said, I think their run game that struggled all season got some love in this game. Rico Dowdles.
Dowdle. Yep.
Dowdle. Yeah. Yep. Rico Dowdle, get that right. I'm not the best with names, but Rico, you had yourself a game. You had some good hard runs. I believe you had almost close to 90 yards on 20 rushes. You really set the tempo for that team, and that O-line did a much better job of getting the ball. The Mike making the changes, the OC making changes of just getting the ball north versus sideways. Going down north, and Rico did a really good job breaking tackles all night and really just putting pressure on that Steelers defense. And then they were able to hit play actions and move the ball pretty well. I think they still need another receiver to help give CD Lamb a little pressure off him, as well as I think they need they'll give the ball a little bit more to Ferguson. Ferguson had a tough I think it was 4th down or 3rd down conversion. Man to man, he ran a really good route stacked the 2 DBs and made a really good, nice catch and a turn up for a first down. I think they need to give him the ball more too. But Cowboys won against a very, very tough Steelers team. I mean, TJ Watt did everything he could. I mean, he was hooping.
Shout out to TJ. Hey, listen, shout out to TJ.
He's
we're not gonna glaze over that. You know what it's like. You know what it's like to try and get to the quarterback. I know it's like to try and get to the quarterback and be the fastest in history to get to 100 sacks. You mean to tell me the person that you pass is the freaking Reggie White? Man, that is incredible. And your brother is JJ Watt? I don't think people understand, man, how incredible that guy's career has been. And he's just in his prime. He's just now really getting going, man. That guy really has a shot. If he stays healthy, he could catch Bruce Smith. He could, man. Like if he plays long enough and he stays healthy, he has a shot to get there, man. And just TJ Watt, congratulations to you. Keep it going. Congrats. Freaking incredible. Cam Hayward, incredible career. That's not an easy defense that those guys had to face.
No.
But Dak made a great play to Turbin, and you talk about another receiver. Turbin, they need to get him the ball a little more because he showed that he's more than just special teams guy. He can make plays. I
agree with that.
Him being an MVP in the at the XFL, the USFL, being the MVP over there, coming to the Cowboys, being a Pro Bowler, an All-Pro, his first year in the league. He's growing every year, and he's showing I'm more than just a special teams guy, and I think he's going to be huge for them. Dak and CD have to kind of work through some things right now. I don't think it's as big an issue as people are making it. I think it's huge competitors. CD is a wide receiver, and they want the ball because he knows – give me a shot. Just throw the ball my way, and let's see what happens, man. CD's that level of competitor. He's that good. Dak is that can play, and I think them missing training camp. We're seeing it. We're seeing it with the 49ers with Brandon Ayuk. His timing is all off. They're missing training camp.
He balled last week.
He did, but it's just like it's a little. It takes some time. And Tom said something. Tom said something on TV that I never thought about. He said when guys are missing training camp or guys are not playing as much in preseason, the first 4 weeks are really like extended training camp because you're still working out the kinks. You're still working out timing and all that. He said, but you got to weather the storm, work out all the kinks, and by mid-season, late in the season, you playing your best ball, which there's a lot of inconsistencies, which leads us to one more game we want to talk about real quick. Seattle Seahawks and the New York Giants. A lot of
people give them love. You gotta give them love.
Gotta give them love. I got to. See, here's the thing. Last week, I didn't think Daniel Jones played horrible. I didn't think he played bad. He just missed a couple throws. I honestly, personally feel like the Giants could have and should have beat the Cowboys on that Thursday night game, but Daniel Jones missed a couple throws. The Cowboys finished the game. The Giants didn't. But then you see the Seahawks go into Detroit and play the way they played, and we both gave them their credit last week about how well they played. All right? And then they go home playing against an injury-riddled Giants team who's missing Malik Neighbors. They're missing Devin Singletary, and they still come out with a win. Win the way they did, the Seahawks is going to kick a field goal. They block it. The Giants block it and return it for a touchdown. Man, that is a freaking crazy way to lose at home.
That is a swing right there.
I know. And it goes to show it's any given Sunday, and you just got to play the game, man. The games have to be played. But what it shows the most to me, and you know this because you've won championships, the margin for error is very slim. And the margin for the top player and the worst player is just as slim because they missed a lot of these teams. The Cowboys were missing guys and won. The Giants were missing guys and won. A lot of these teams are missing players and still coming out with victories. Both of those teams, Giants and the Cowboys, were on the road winning somebody else's house and won while missing two of their top players. And it goes to show, man, this is the best in the world. This is the best in the world, man.
I think you have to now question the running back situation with the Giants, though. I think this Tyrone Lacy Jr. cat, he's for real. I think he's back number one now. I think Singletary is a very, very good back. But Tracy had 18 carries for 129.
Yeah, he balled.
But he was toting the rock. Like,
yeah,
he was setting the tone. That Giants O-line was getting after the Seahawks, who are still a little injured. They're still banged up front, but that they rushed for 175 on 35 carries.
This is the best the Giants O-line has looked in, shoot, you can say the last 5 years, man. They putting it together up front.
And Daniel Jones, he distributed the ball nicely. He's making good decisions through 2 tugs. Like, he's doing Dayball's putting them in really good situations. But what I want to talk about a little bit is the Seahawks run game a little bit. But without Geno Smith's a couple of his long runs, they didn't really have anything. No. They need to give Kenneth Walker the ball more. He only had 5 carries in this game.
You can't do that, man. That guy, he's one of those.
He's too good.
He's one of those in the league. Kenneth Walker is one of those. He has to get the ball, man. You got to lean on your playmakers. When you're missing guys, and like your defense, like you said, the defense is hurt. The way you, again, you've won championships. I just know football. If you want to win, you got to be able to run the ball, especially when your defense is struggling or your defense has injuries. You got to extend drives to take pressure off. It's complementary football. There's 3 phases. Every phase has to complement each other. Okay, we just got a 3 and out. When we went 3 and out, we need you to flip the field. Flip the field for us. So our punt team has to come in and flip the field for us. Okay, now we need our offense to extend some drives. The defense is getting tired. They're trying to hold up. Okay, how do you do that? You got to run the ball. Stay on the field. Convert on 3rd downs. You can't do that when your defense is struggling because of injuries. When the Giants are running the lights out of freaking football, like you just said, Daniel Jones is willing and dealing. We have to run the football better in order to counteract what they're doing.
Yeah. And give Giants credit because they did their thing and they played into their strengths. The Giants, the 3-headed monster with Kayvon Thibodeau, Burns, and Dexter Lawrence, who probably should have been my drive to win because he had 3 sacks. They went off. They had 7 sacks on defense. They played right into the strength of their team, which was the pass rush. And the Giants defense did their thing with Simmons at the end blocking that. That was dope play.
Hey, Dexter Lawrence Sexy Dexy is doing this number. Sexy Dexy said, hey, but this is what I be telling people, man. When you got a dominant guy like that,
nose tackle,
2 edge guys that can rush, that's making the quarterback step up, you just need somebody to push the pocket, and he's going crazy right now. Sexy Dexy is legit, and it definitely showed. It definitely showed. Those were some games.
I ain't calling him that, though.
Okay, look. The reason I had to call him that is because, one, my boy's a huge Giants fan, and then I had the interview with Dexter Lawrence. That probably my last time doing it. But my boy's a Giants fan. Said, "Come on, man, he's balling. You got to call him at once." So that's your one. That's your one. All right, I gave you your one, and that's it. But we got some more teams to talk about. We're gonna talk about a couple teams who have been dominant, who have all the talent, but are struggling right now. So we're going to get into it. We're going to hit a commercial break, hear from our sponsors who keep our chains moving. We'll be right back in just a second.
It's now time to talk about bounce back or breakdown. Which way are we going? And we're going to talk about one team in particular. That is the San Francisco 49ers. We got to talk about them, G. They're a really, really good football team. But like everyone says, you are what your record says.
Yeah.
You are what you say you are, but
you are what your record shows.
What your record shows.
Yeah. Hey, listen, it's all good.
A tongue twister right there. It's all
hey,
good.
Listen.
But
hey,
you
just had a crazy game. You just had a crazy game versus. Hey, you just had a crazy game versus the 49ers. Hey,
I got myself for you.
Win it, make your mind scramble sometimes, baby. That's all it is. Win it, make your mind scramble sometimes.
Let's talk about them. 2 leads into the 4th quarter. Lose both those games, Rams and now the Cardinals. Both winning. Looks like they had control of the game and then ended up losing. Cardinals coming back. Kyler Murray did his thing. But let's just talk strictly Niners. What are they missing? You think Christian McCaffrey would also help, but they have pieces. What do you think they got going on?
What I think is some consistencies right now. I think that what's happening is you gotta score when you're in the red zone. Let's say what it say, 6 trips, just 1 touchdown. 6 trips, just 1 touchdown. Yes, Christian McCaffrey can change that, but here's one thing a lot of people haven't seen with a Shanahan offense is they're built to play football a certain way. And I learned this from Kurt Warner, is the 49ers are built to play with a lead. They're built to play kind of not front runner-ish, but they try and get you on your heels and keep it that way. But when there's some pushback or times get tight, if you don't make a mistake, then they don't really do well with games being really tight or having to work their way back. And I think that's been a characteristic of the 49ers. And right now, they're just all over the place. And remember, we talked about this in the preseason and leading into this season of would this affect them, all the circus that happened. Remember, we took bets on whether Trent was going to show up. We didn't know if Brandon Ayuk's deal was going to get done. The Christian McCaffrey injury. Debo was out for a little bit. Kittle was out for a little bit. We don't know about, Brock Purdy struggled a little bit in preseason. They're going through that time of where a team we're so used to dominating are starting to look really regular. And because they've been dominating for so long, I think we've gotten spoiled and don't understand. And Kyle Shanahan talked about it. He could be deflected, but it's not like he's lying. He's not reaching with his comment. He said, this is the NFL. We've been dominating for so long, y'all don't understand. This is what it is. You grind through this thing. You got to grind through it. And they've just they're having one of those rough starts to the season. But it's 5 weeks in. And I feel like they'll bounce back. We did a thing on Sunday where we had to put, where do we put ranked teams or whatever? And it was the Vikings. Are they the best team in the NFC? Whatever. I still had the 49ers as the second best team, top to bottom, talent-wise, especially if they get Christian McCaffrey back, because we've just seen them dominate so well offensively, defensively, and over the years. I believe they can bounce back, but I just think that it's a matter of figuring things out. They've had a rocky start to the season with all the circus and the roller coaster of emotions they had in the offseason, in training camp, and leading into the season. And I think it's just carrying over. But they will get this thing fixed. I think they'll figure it out.
Yeah, I think obviously stating the obvious with Christian McCaffrey, right? That's like, hey, but I don't want to go that take. Where I want to go is I want to see Debo get more involved. I think Debo is a game wrecker on offense. Get the ball in his hands some way, somehow. Like, he only had 1 catch in this game and 3 carries. Yeah. Can't happen. Buddy's too good. Like, Buddy is cold with the ball in his hands. I got to do everything I can. But I felt like they did a good job getting Ayuk going. He had 8 catches for about almost 150. But I need Debo with the ball. I need Debo to either play a little bit more running back or get him some easy catch.
He's got to be priority.
Got to, because he's way too good with the ball in his hands. And then that would be my only thing is defensively. I didn't watch too much of it defensively, so I can't say. But offensively, personally, I just need Debo to get the ball more.
Yeah, and when my interview with Trent said, I asked him about being in that positionless offense, and I said that a lot of guys that are on that team that have come over from other teams have been at their best in that offense, even including him. Trent was already great, but it's like his game went to the next level in that Shanahan offense. And he said, you look at Christian and the different things he can do. You can put him in all these different positions, but Debo's the exact same thing. So when you got a weapon in Debo Samuel, he has to be the number 1 priority on offense. Give him the ball at running back. Split him out wide. Put him in the slot. Let him get some direct runs. Put him at quarterback. Do everything necessary.
I agree with that.
Have we not seen him do it?
Yeah.
He's taking direct snaps. When you get in the red zone, find Debo. Make a play for Debo.
Get him in the game.
Because he runs so because
he is that dude when he has the ball in his hands.
When he has the ball in his hands, it's space. He runs strong. I mean, he can catch everything. He can play running back. Like, I think they have to prioritize him. That's a great point you made there. But I'm not really worried about the freaking 49ers.
I'm not either.
They will be okay.
They're really good.
Simply, they're really good. But not only that, this is one of those years. You play football for a long time. I played for a long time. You know, sometimes you have those years where it's like anything can happen. Anything can happen this year. And it's not one of those years where you see teams just pulling away. Like the Bucs probably should have won that game versus the Falcons, but then
here we go.
No, listen. No, I'm making a point here. This ain't about the Bucs. I'm saying the Bucs, okay, let's say they win that game, right? Okay, now they go up and their record is what it is, but they lost. Now the Falcons win, and now the records are balanced out. This is one of those years where it's not a team, no teams are just pulling off. You're not seeing teams just where you like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Okay, those are the guys. They're clearly separating from the pack. And then these people are just clearly set. This is a year where anything can happen. Look at freaking Jacksonville. Like, Trevor Lawrence, we was like, oh, well, freak, they shouldn't have paid this dude. And then he goes and shows us why they paid him all this money. Why is the number one overall pick? It's just one of them years. So the 49ers are not out of it. Anything can happen. So simply because of it's just one of those years. So I'm not worried about them. But this is one of our funnest segments. We got to get into it. This is our Drive to Win, presented by Toyota, official automotive partner of the NFL. We got to get into our Drive to Wins. Killer, I can't wait to hear it. No, can't wait to hear you. Okay, I go. First and foremost, I got to give my guy some love. Let me pull up his numbers real quick because we've been here about Jayden Daniels. For good reason. But my guy got it going at home. You know what's crazy? Something that a lot of people don't know. Fun fact, the longest home winning streak right now, the Chicago Bears. I know a lot of people didn't know that. My guy, the number one overall pick, Caleb Williams, 20 for 29, 304, 2 tubs, no picks. Blew out the Carolina Panthers. I got to give Caleb Williams some love. Week after week, he's getting better by the week. And I told everybody, be patient. It's okay. He's a rookie. Guys get thrown into the fire, and it's trial by fire. They have to learn as time goes on. He had his best game of his rookie year. He balled. My first Drive to Win is Caleb Williams. You started at the University of Oklahoma. I know you ended up being a USC Trojan, but it's okay. My first Drive to Win, my dog, Caleb Williams. Who you got, Killer?
I'm going to go with the new member of the 30 picks and 20 sack club, Harrison Smith of the Minnesota Vikings. Good old Harry. He a dog, bro.
He's a baller,
he's going to be a Hall of Famer.
Absolutely.
The list of players that have that are Charles Woodson, Larry Wilson, Rodney Harrison, who probably should be in the Hall of Fame, Brian Hawkins, Leroy Butler, and Rondé Barber, and now Harry. That dude, love Harry, good person, awesome golfer too. He deserves, and that's why he's my Drive to Win. And my second one is Lamar Jackson, because he does what he does. He is on a roll. I'm glad I'm his teammate, because I do not want to look dumb on defense. Right. Defenders look dumb. Appreciate you, LJ. You're my Drive to Win, my boy. And then a side note, I always got to throw in a little extra one. Justin Tucker, game winner. Holla at your boy, JT.
Yeah, Tuck. Okay, I gotta do this, man. It was in a losing effort, but I gotta show love to the big dogs, man. If y'all did not see, for a couple reasons, Kalen Saunders. Okay, he made a big hit for the New Orleans Saints. D-tackle. He made a big hit on Kelsey. They talked about him. They had all this. It's like he does this, and this, and then they get a hit on JuJu. A lot of people don't understand. He caught it with the left. Switched it to the right, he's taking off running. And then as he's running up the sideline, his little feet is turning. He turned them little fat legs over, and then he switches it to the left, and he's rolling. He pushed his own teammate out the way. He like, come on, man, this is my moment. Back up. I don't need all that. You go block. He pulled the Lamar Jackson on him. Hey, go do something over there. I'm running. Kalen Saunders, my man, got the pick. He made a lot of great plays, but not only that, they said my man's brother is a backup singer for Taylor Swift. That's insanity. So you're an NFL defensive lineman and your brother's a backup dancer for Taylor Swift. That's dope to me. So, shoot, Kayla Saunders and Caleb Williams are my drive to wins. And Kyle, you had Lamar Jackson, you had Harrison Smith, and you had obviously Justin Tucker, the GOAT kicker, for a drive to win. That has been our weekly segment, Drive to Win, presented by Toyota, official automotive partner of our NFL. Our next segment, we got picks, but we're going to take a quick commercial break. We'll be right back with our picks for this week's upcoming games. I'll let you. Hey, we are back. Okay, so
breaking news, right?
Breaking news. Okay, we're gonna do our picks, but we're gonna post them like we do every week, and you guys will get to see who me and Killer picked. But we got some breaking news that we got to talk about. The New York Jets just fired head coach Robert Saleh, and man, when you have a team full of talented guys like this, and you're supposed to be just a quarterback away, there's obviously a disconnect somewhere, and it sucks because the first person they look at is the head coach. They're either not responding to him, it's something he's not doing well, or that's just how it's viewed. And Robert Saleh just so happened to be the victim at this point, and the Jets decided to part ways with him. Killer, how you feel about it?
Wow. First thoughts, it sucks to get fired. I've been fired. It's not fun. Not a fun feeling. So
have you ever been on a team where a coach got fired in the middle of the season?
Yes. No, but a GM. When I was in Detroit, we started off 1-7. And Martin Mayhew, who drafted me, got fired. That sucked. And that's why they tried to get me out of there ASAP. But that's all right. Ended up being good for me. But it still sucks. Like, it's not fun to get fired. Not fun at all. But my first thought was what Quincy Williams said after the game. He said that he was tired of hearing the same ish. Yeah. And when I heard that, the first thing I thought of, that's your leader. That's your leader on defense. So that's like a message to the top. Like I'm doing everything I can to do. I'm trying to be a leader. I'm playing lights out right now. I think Quincy Williams a dog. I think he's played unreal this season. And for your leader to say that,
first team All-Pro last year too.
That's tough. That's tough to hear. Something's not disconnecting, and so I think they had to make a decision. And I don't know if Aaron, whatever I don't know, but to me, I'm focused on like what Quincy said, because that to me was something. When I saw that, I was like, oh man, that's not good.
Yeah, it's not good. And
what about you? What are your first thoughts?
My first thoughts is I'm not a very good football player because I've been through this more than once. Honestly, I suck as a football player because I've gotten multiple people fired. Mike Smith, my defensive coordinator in Tampa, got fired mid-season in 2018. And then in 2019, Ron Rivera got fired mid-season while I was with the Carolina Panthers. So obviously, one, Gerald's not a very good football player. That's one thing. Two, it sucks because when I tell you it puts a dark cloud over the team for at least a day. And even if I know with Ron Rivera, we was willing to jump off a bridge for him. It was like, whatever happens with this ship, whether it sinks or floats, we want Ron Rivera to be the captain. And when they fired him, it sucks. And we all were going through it, man, because we were just like, Chico, not Ron Rivera. Like, if anything's the problem, it ain't him. So when he got fired, and then when Mike Smith got fired, who was the head coach for Atlanta for a long time, became our defensive coordinator in Tampa from 2016 to 2018, it had gotten to a point to where our defense, we had too many really good players. And we just wasn't responding to them. Similar to what Quincy is saying, we just were not responding well. And in my opinion, I never want to see anybody get fired. But when your guys are not responding at all, it's like, okay, a change has to be made. It was too much complexity for no reason. It was a a lot of unnecessary things that were taking place. And you hate to see it from a man's standpoint because we're all just men trying to provide for our families. We're all just men trying to live out a dream. You never want to see a person get fired because when I was with the Cowboys, I got technically fired. It was obviously due to injury, but still, it's not a great feeling. I parted ways with the Bucks, which is technically a release or a firing. It was a mutual agreement, but you never want to see that scroll across the TV. You never want to have that feeling of getting released or cut or fired, and you never want to see it happen to anybody else. But this is a performance-based business.
Yeah,
and a lot of us, you know what you sign up for, and just like I know, and the coaches know, if you don't perform, they will get you out of there and find the next person. I'm sure you were told, just like I was told, as soon as you got drafted, they're looking for your replacement. And there's no different with coaches. They always got their eyes on the next coach or who can get the job done. Because in a performance-based business, you have to perform. And the Jets were not performing. And it almost looked to the point to where it was like, this is not good. This is not good. And then when you got Quincy Williams, leader on defense, and your freaking Hall of Fame quarterback, who in a press conference last week, they said, Robert said we might need to back off a little bit on the snap count. And he's like, yeah, that's one way to look at it. Or you can hold these guys accountable. At that point, we should have known the writing's kind of on the wall. If they don't go win over the pond and come back with a dub, this might be the end for Robert Saleh. And sure enough, they let him go. So I don't know what happens next. I don't know who the interim is. Let me look. I don't think it would. Now we see what Sean Payton said about Nathaniel Hackett. He said that's the worst head coaching job I've ever seen ever. So I don't think Nathaniel Hackett will be the interim. We'll see how these guys respond with what's going on. I think A-Rod, here's one thing I want to point out is in Tampa in 2020, this is just how I felt, and this is just from what I heard inside the building. When the Bucs, with all that talent on offense and defense, were kind of having some struggles, Tom made a decision. He talked to the coaches, talked to GM, hey, I kind of got to let me do my thing. Let me run my offense, run it how I want to run it. Let me kind of take control and do it because they were running the no risk it. Yeah, the Bucs. They were running the no risk it, no biscuit type of offense with Bruce Arians. And Tom said, no, I kind of got to do it my way. Let me do it and just watch. I think Aaron Rodgers. I think Aaron Rodgers is going to do the same. I think he's going to say, hey, let me take this thing over. Let me kind of run what I want to run, how I want to do it, and we might see a flip. But you hate to see this. So I don't know, man. We'll see what happens with the Jets. But, I mean, of any team this could happen to, it's the Jets. It's just – so I don't know, man.
But let's just get all that energy out and let's talk about week 6, baby.
Yeah.
Another week of football. Let's get to it. First game, Thursday night game. This is going to be a good game. The Niners versus the Seahawks. Are we going to get both teams coming off a loss? Somebody's losing another game. Who we got?
What? Shoot, man. This is a toss-up. The Seahawks at home. Seahawks at home. I'm going to go with the 49ers. I'm going with the Niners.
I'm going with the Niners,
I think they figure it out. The Seahawks are just kind of beat up on defense. And offensively, the Niners still have all their guys. I mean, obviously not Christian, but I think what you said is going to happen. Debo is going to get a lot of touches. I got the 49ers. Jaguars and Bears.
I got the Bears again because they're at home. I'm riding the home team. Right?
No, they playing in London. They playing in London.
Oh, they are.
It's
they got they're a home team in London, though. They're a home team in London.
So I got
Don't
the
try
Bears
me.
Too. I got the Bears too. Number one pick versus number one pick.
I'm gonna take the Jaguars, and let me tell you why. Because Jaguars, they're comfortable going over there.
They're comfortable going over there. And
let's go. They coming off like a big high. Come on, baby.
Yeah, but also a lot of their fans are over there too because their owner, he actually wants to take the Jaguars and put them over there, which is crazy. crazy. But I'm still going to take the Bears.
Though.
Yeah,
I'm going to go with the Jags.
Yeah, I'm going to go with the Bears.
Against you.
Okay, are you going to go against me on this one too? Are you going against me on this one too?
Saints. No, I'm going to take the Bucks because if Derek Carr's hurt, I don't like that.
Yeah, me neither.
I got the Bucks.
Obviously, we both got the Ravens.
Yeah,
I mean, I'm not. I know a lot of people think, "Oh, you're only picking Ravens because you're bored." No, I'm really picking Ravens because I think the Ravens are playing the best football right now, top to bottom. These guys and the way Lamar Jackson's playing MVP, the way Derrick Henry's playing is at an MVP level. My dog obviously is balling. The defense made clutch plays when necessary, and the Commanders are kind of blowing people out and like really beating on people. I want to see what they can do in a close game versus one of them. You know, that's just so. I got the Ravens.
Cardinals versus Packers.
I'm going with the Cardinals, man. Packers, they pulled one out. They pulled one out versus the Rams, but Kyler, man. Kyler hit him with
Kyler's a problem, bro.
Kyler hit him with one of these from 40 yards out. Do you know how elite of an athlete you got to be to do this from 40 yards out?
That's disrespectful.
Hey, listen. Eddie just got the Call of Duty deal. My dog is winning right now.
That. Yeah. Good for him. Yeah. I'll take the Packers. Why not? Colts versus Titans. Titans coming off the bye. Is Joe Flacco playing or Anthony Richardson?
Man, I got the Colts. I'm going to go with the Colts. I'm going to go with the Colts. Texas, who you got?
I'll take the Titans. Why not? Texans versus Pats. I think we're both taking the Texans.
Yes, we are.
All right. Browns versus the Eagles. I think both of us are taking the Eagles.
The Eagles, yes. Yes,
all
sir.
Right, Chargers versus Broncos. This is going to be a grinded out game.
I'm actually going to take the Broncos, man. I love what they're doing right now defensively. I love what they're doing defensively.
I'll take the Chargers. Why not? Man. Steelers versus the Raiders.
Oof.
At the Raiders.
Oh, man. This is a tough one, man. TJ versus Max.
Yeah, I'll take the Steelers. Why not?
Yeah, I'm going to take the Raiders at home. Yeah.
All right. Falcons versus the Panthers.
I'm going to go with the Falcons.
Me too. Lions versus Cowboys. Ooh, rematch.
The Lions going to get some get back over there. They know they owe them one. They know they owe them one for that nonsense that happened. I'm going to go with the Lions on this one.
I'll go with that too. Bengals versus the Giants. I like this matchup.
Yeah, I still love what Joe Burrow and that offense is doing right now. The defense is a little shaky, but I'm gonna go with the Bengals because I
like the Bengals too.
Yeah, I don't expect
and then
the Giants
Monday night game.
Oh my gosh,
the Jets.
I was gonna take the Jets before the firing.
You are.
No, before the firing. So that was. I'm going to give one more last shot at this. I think the team bounces back. I think they come out rejuvenated at home. The fans will be screaming loud because this is supposed to be a fresh start. So I'm going to go with the Jets to win this one.
I don't know who I'm going to pick. Let's go Jets. Why not?
There we go. There we go. Hey, everybody, this has been an incredible show. Hey, this is how the shows go, man. You get breaking news. You never know. I know the show's a little longer, but this is the types of shows you want to hear. We talked about a whole lot. We got some insight from my guy, McCoy Van Noy, about what it's like to be a positionless defense. I know that's something you guys never heard before. Talked about some teams that are struggling. A lot of great football. We had some coaches firing. We got week 6 footballs a lot. Well, we enjoyed it. It's been great. Also, remember, we want to hear from you at McCoy Van Noy at Yahoo Sports. Call-ins, videos, text messages, emails, all of it. Like, subscribe. We want to hear from you.
You have to just subscribe. Tell your mom, tell your dad, tell your brother, everybody in your family. Subscribe to us. Follow us. Enjoy the show. We appreciate you. We love you. Thanks to Brett, John, and Audie behind the scenes. They're always holding it down.
They always holding it down, man. Y'all boys make it easy on us. Yes,
have a good week. Let's go on to week 6.
Let's get it.